Hello to all you lovely parents and children. A very warm welcome to you on Kids Okay Please Live. How are all of you doing today? We have a fantastic guest with us today. She is an expert nutritionist and she's going to tell us all about children's nutrition and parents' nutrition and the healthy nutrition habits that we should keep and have. And yeah, let's have, her name is Rakhi Arora Jain, and I'm gonna call her live to join us today. Let me just line with us. I'm waiting for Rakhi to join. Hi Rakhi, how are you doing today?
Hi, I'm good. How are you? How's everything going?
I'm very good, thank you, thank you. Such a pleasure to have you on Kids Okay Please Live.
I'm really excited about this because it's a very
Likewise.
interesting topic that we're going to be talking about. So happy to be here.
Happy to have you here, Rakhi. Happy to have you here. How's the to begin with, I think our audience would be ecstatic to know, how did your journey begin with the world of nutrition?
So, since childhood, I've been somebody who has been eating healthy because my mom was very much into health, and I was always playing a sport. So, I was into sports and I was into dance and stuff. And when I grew up, I went back to studying nutrition, and after my graduation, and I studied nutrition after my graduation. And then it sort of began from there. It's a continued learning journey for me. I have been working with clients since the past 4-5 years, and it's been going great. I am really happy to be in this field because it's a very important, aspect of our lives, which most people ignore.
True.
And I'm so happy that most people are paying attention to it as well.
Lovely, lovely. That's great. So, what was nutrition like for you when you were a child?
So when I was growing up, it was very funny because I was made fun of for always going for like fruits, vegetables. I was this child who would just eat fruits and vegetables. There wasn't any label put when I was growing up whether something is good or bad. It was just that certain colors was more attractive at that time. And sort of growing up, I was always into sport, so exercise was a very big part of my life as well. And yeah, so maybe when I started becoming a teenager and started going out with my friends and stuff, that's when I actually started eating unhealthy food. Till then, I was a very, very good child, and it wasn't consciously done. It was just a thing that was there. Like, it wasn't like a plan that my mom had. She would be the one eating what she would, and I sort of followed suit. I think most my other two siblings were not as much into it, but it sort of just happened in that way. And then growing up, maybe in college, I wasn't so great with my food, but eventually I came back to it in my early 20s. And now it's just the way of life for me. I'm 31 now, and it's just a way of life. But yeah, growing up as a kid, it was very important to play a sport, to explore hobbies like dancing, and of course all the different sports. So one physical activity was very important, and making sure that vegetables are eaten. I grew up as a vegetarian. I'm like half vegan now, but I grew up as a vegetarian. So importance of vegetables was there. Making sure that fruits I had, like as a kid, I would eat fruits as a snack, which was very funny to some of my cousins and stuff. But yeah, growing up, I was a good child. But once I grew up, so once I started going out a lot more, I was a bit off. And then now I'm back to my routine of my inherent love for eating fresh food, eating good food. So yes, that is my
Lovely.
style.
Lovely. How cool and interesting that was, huh? You've been blessed. You've been blessed to be born into to a mother who is so careful about your nutrition, and that is an inherent gift that you got.
Yeah.
That lovely, wonderful. So, there's I believe our young parents here, the young parents who are watching us, would really want to know, since it's so challenging to juggle so many roles when you're just a young parent. So,
Yeah.
what suggestions do you have for young parents when it comes to nutrition? How would you recommend they stay healthy, they stay fit, and at the same time they do their mommy and daddy duties well?
Of course, I mean, until from the age of when your child is born till the age of say 2.5, 3, it's sort of a haywire schedule for you because you are not sleeping well. Priorities, the kids, just the basic functioning of your toddler. But I think eventually, once everything comes into place, once your child has a routine, it's important to focus on yourself. And it's so interesting because I work with a lot of young parents who've just given birth, or parents who have like toddlers, maybe 2.5 years, 3 years, and that age is great because you sort of just know that they don't have a very big schedule. So that's when parents should start focusing back on their health. And it shouldn't be like a temporary fix. It should be the way of their lifestyle because what happens from there on is that the child also starts emulating them. So it sort of becomes like a good habit to create for themselves, so that and the incentive is the child, that the child will develop good habits as well. So parents must definitely take care of their nutrition because they need the energy. Most of the parents of our generation are definitely over the age of 30. So I mean, that's my understanding. And sort of our energy needs to be preserved, or we need to make sure that we're supplementing our lifestyle with good food so that we are constantly active. So definitely young parents should take care of their health because it never gets better from there. We only are aging every day and every year and every decade. So taking care of your health in the beginning itself should be made priority, and it's tough, but trust me, once you get in the rhythm, you should learn how to adapt. Don't make like one particular form, like one particular idea of nutrition or health or diet or fitness. Make it more like a holistic, one step at a time kind of a thing, and adapt to every situation. Maybe now, every 6, 8 months, the child then starts having a new schedule or new things or whatever. So adapt to that. Make sure, you're not focusing on just one particular way of eating or way of exercising, and just along the ways make changes according to the situation.
How insightful, Rocky. How insightful. Thank you for that. Coming to the next question, since even children are becoming more and more independent by the day with the explosion of the internet and technology, what would you like to tell them about their food habits and nutrition? If we were to direct, so we will have, our audience, of course, like Kids Okay Please, right? So there's going to be kids watching us as well. So what advice do you have for them when it comes to nutrition?
Right. So for kids, it's plain and simple. Eat foods that actually give you energy, that help you grow, that make your eyes strong, make your body strong. And when you know that most kids actually are into some physical activity, that's an incentive for them to sort of start forming those habits. Mostly that's when kids are, that is the kind of incentive that is given to kids, that oh, you'll get better at so and so thing, or you'll get stronger at so and so thing. So growth, strength, sharpness, smartness is what I would promote instead of saying good and bad foods. So eat foods that are helping you. Kids should be eating like adults. It's not required to have a separate menu for kids, right? So be like your parents. Eat good whole foods. Constantly don't go for something that is too sugary, something that's too sweet. But once in a while, it's healthy. Once in a while, we go for something that's healthy. So wait for treats. make sure that you are involved in cooking, because kids, when they learn how to cook or get involved in cooking, they understand food so much more. So it's not just a feeding myself kind of a thing. Kids understand food, understand nutrition a lot more when they are involved in cooking. So help your parents to sort of make your meals. Definitely stay off junk food as much as possible. Eat foods like like how your parents would eat. So I mean, just to put it in a short, like a nutshell, that's what it is.
Okay, so any particular sources of nutrition that you would recommend to children that they should have when it comes to
Of course,
fruits or when it comes to vegetables?
yes, yes, definitely. So fruits, vegetables of all different colors should be had, from white, yellow, orange, red, green. These are all the different kinds of fruits and vegetables you must go for. All of them have really good nutrients. So definitely vegetables and fruits of different colors. Eat almonds, eat walnuts. They help you with getting smarter, getting better at your games or your school. So these are things that you should definitely eat. Make sure that you are eating dals, lentils, protein sources, like, so eat eggs. They help you build your muscles. So these are building blocks of your body, and that will also help you grow. So definitely eating foods of different colors for strong eyes. Definitely eating foods which have calcium. So whether it's milk or it's almonds or it's sesame seeds, definitely. So that will help you, your bones grow, and of course protein that will help your muscles grow. So these are few things, and of course, like I mentioned in the previous answer, that avoid eating too much junk food, because they lack that much color. They lack all of these things that will help you become stronger and better.
Thank you, Rakhi. How insightful. Thank you. So that was guys. Please, all you children and all parents, please take a note of that. Rakhi shared with us some very insightful information about what are the sources of nutrition that we should factor when in early childhood. All right, then now going on to the next question. We're in an age where even a child can not be happy with his weight. Where back in the day it was a child would be ignorant about it, but now that is not the case. So if a child is not happy with his weight and is interested in keeping a check on it, and what nutrition advice would you have for that child?
So first of all, of course, this is something that the parents and teachers should really work on. Anyone who's in direct contact with the children, because I know it's really hard. Body image is a big topic even for adults. So of course, it spills over for the kids as well. Plus, at this time, there's a lot more cases in India with childhood obesity. So awareness is very important, but making sure that they are not scared. They are not constantly bombarded with negative comments and negative enforcements, that they are feeling conscious about themselves. They should just understand that taking up a sport is good for them. Why is it good for them? Not just telling them that you need to lose weight. Giving that kind of advice to kids is useless, because first of all, mentally you're conditioning them to become something that they shouldn't be, which we first of all don't agree with ourselves, right? Because right now all of us are so much more aware of body shaming and understanding these concepts. So why would we drill this in kids? So making them understand that yes, if they do face something like this, they should be reminded of their other positive habits or other positive things about them. So body isn't, like, your aesthetics isn't the only thing, and kids should be really told, because there's so much more exposure, like you said. There's so much more exposure with the internet and everything, that they are sort of getting more conscious Initially, when we were kids, it was just magazines and TV. Now there's the internet, there's influencers, and so on and so forth. So what is more important is definitely cutting out a lot of that screen time, and secondly, reinforcing them, reassuring them that they have many other qualities, and aesthetics isn't the only thing that they should look at, and definitely making them understand what is healthy for them in the long run for the rest of their life, as well as at that time, in the period. So like if currently, if like a 7-year-old or 8-year-old is just getting into some activity, so making them understand that instead of telling them that they are overweight or they should be losing weight, fat, and these are the words that the parents and the teachers should avoid. And definitely just a bit of education. All they need is to understand what all of this is. Kids don't need to be told what they are or they aren't. If you explain it to them, they will understand this so much better, and they won't constantly be second guessing, or and eventually in their life they won't be having wrong concepts about certain things. So education is very important, and like we educate them about everything else in the world, about shutting the lights for electricity, or sort of teaching them science, maths. So food, fitness, nutrition, psychologically training them to be stronger individuals is very important.
Lovely, lovely. That actually brings me to highlight the importance of nutrition as a subject in schools. What would you like to say about nutrition? I realize that it's funny that nutrition being such an important factor in all of our lives is not taught in schools.
Yeah.
Whereas it is when you look at each of us individually, be it a children or a parent, all of us are in this journey of life by ourselves, and it is our body that is going to stay with us till forever. Our family, our friends tomorrow may be in this world, may not be in this world, but what essentially will remain with us is our bodies. So what do you have to say about the importance of including nutrition in the education system?
So rightly said, Zen, that yes, this is the body, that it's our first partner, right? And it is important in a lot of ways. When we were kids, we were not taught this subject, but now we are being invited as nutritionists or nutrition consultants to schools for sessions. So definitely there is slightly more there's a little bit more awareness now. Kids are being exposed to this subject, but having it as a subject or part of, because kids are any which ways being taught about nutrients. So vitamins, minerals, what are they? But the application is taught immediately while these concepts are being taught will actually make them grow. They won't be dependent on anyone, definitely. Like you said, they will not constantly be. This concept should not be taught in our when we have some kind of disease, or in our late 20s where we suddenly want to start taking care of our health. So definitely not to be taught as a subject of weight loss, gain, fat, muscle, this, that. Just an understanding of what nutrition is very important. So definitely alongside everything else being taught within science as well, if nutrition is just as a subject, as a chapter, in fact, included in our books, and probably yearly or twice in a year, having sessions like these with kids is definitely very helpful. So it is definitely required because of the growing exposure, the childhood obesity, growing exposure to different kinds of westernized foods, not traditional, definitely more growing, there's so much more exposure to junk food and packaged food, and parents are busy, so easy, convenient foods. So definitely this is required, and should be inculcated.
Absolutely. I would totally second that, Rocky. And I personally, after hearing you out as well, I very strongly second what you said. And I certainly feel that as in a semester, a chapter at least on nutrition as children grow up, as they graduate from a grade to another, grow on to learn more and more about nutrition, because it eventually is a subject that's going to help them throughout their lives. So if a child, when they graduate from their schools, learns everything there is about nutrition, and they retain 80% to 50 or 30% of that, that's going to help them all their lives. Indeed, right?
Absolutely. 100%. Yes. Yeah,
Absolutely.
100%. And that's why how most of the, so in India, lifestyle disorders are increasing so exponentially right now. There is so
True.
much more. First of all, India, uh, while testing isn't so great, we are already number 2 in diabetes. All right. So if we had to test everybody, I'm sure we would be number 1 in the world. Certain organizations even call it the number 1 in diabetes. So that having, I mean, that gives a big picture and gives us an understanding where we are as a nation, and how early education in this subject will actually help kids even more, because as a race we are getting unhealthy by the day. So this will definitely remove most of the health problems. Forget about overweight, obese, fat, not fat, athletic, doesn't matter. Not even talking about aesthetics, it's just talking about health in general. And this will definitely bring us, at least cut down most of the issues, health problems that we have. It's such a big problem right now, and so much more load on the health system right now, that we're constantly taking these medications. At 30 people these days, even at 30 people are getting heart attacks. So it's just not getting any better, and this will definitely solve our problems. So you rightly said.
Certainly, certainly. Thank you, Rocky. So, what advice do you have for parents who want to keep their children's nutrition in check? I think you did cover that subject. So,
Right.
you had the advice, but what I really mean to ask is, children are children, right? I mean, we sometimes are children, of course. So,
Oh, we
children,
are.
but we are right. We
Definitely.
are. We need our cheat meals, don't we?
Yeah, of course.
So when it comes to parents and when it comes to children who are easily lured, I mean, children are but naturally, and if not children, then who would be easily lured? Towards
Right.
food, ice cream, chocolates. But
Of course, absolutely.
what I want to ask you is, what would you like to tell children, or what would you like to tell parents rather, when it comes to keeping their children's nutrition in check? What advice do you have for them?
Okay, so let me start beginning from the time the child starts eating, because every parent might be at a different stage right now. So definitely from 6 months onwards, you start including solids, right? So making sure that you're including whole meals, whole food, not giving shortcut foods, giving cereals directly to kids, anything high in sugar. So that's the basic that most parents are taught these days. So the awareness is still there a little bit when the weaning off period is there. So starting from when you start the solids, teach them how to eat bitter food, because that is where the easiest thing to eat for parents to feed their children is sweet food. And of course, because the mother's milk is sweet, it starts from there, right? So exposing them to different tastes, different kinds of foods, different textures. So sensory development from a younger age through food is definitely, I'm sure now parents are more aware and they're getting much into this. But yeah, starting from there, so exposing them to bitter stuff, different tastes of different foods, and then thereon, slowly feeding them whole foods. And of course, kids are finicky. They are exposed to a certain level of media, and of course, certain level of when they start school and they start their creches and stuff like that. They are exposed to different cultures and people from and kids from different places. So teaching them the importance of what works for them as the family, like, oh, I do this, you should do it with me. So giving that kind of mirror, so kids are mirroring you from very young age. So starting from there, definitely from the age to 3 and 5 is when the child is actually developing liking for food. So that's when you expose your child to every different kind of food. And they may or may not like something in the first exposure itself. It could be the fourth, fifth, 10th time that they probably start develop a liking or maybe agree to eat that certain food. So getting there, being patient is extremely important, and making sure that you are still holding your ground. Somewhere you meet midway with the child, because they are very manipulative beings, kids, right? They will get what they want. So what is important is we meet them midway, we negotiate, and we come to a conclusion where if the child is not eating, for example, if my child is not eating certain fruits, then I will say, okay, the child likes something else. I'll include a little bit of that food along with the fruit, making sure that you're, just to expose themselves to the taste. Hiding the food sometimes is helpful. Definitely, cutting the sandwiches differently, or using cookie cutters, making shapes, making things, involving the kids in cooking, like I said. So right now, everyone's under the lockdown, and parents are worried about what to make them do, teaching them how to make sprouts. And then from that journey, when the child is part of these things, they understand, and they sort of start grasping these things much better for later life. So from 3 to 5, that's when we are forming their opinion about food. So exposure to everything is important. Holding your ground, being patient, definitely negotiation is very important. And eventually, after the age of 5 is when we need to start focusing on nutrients. And from the beginning, the nutrients are very important. So making sure they're eating protein, not just eating rice, not just eating chapati, including some kind of paneer or chicken or eggs or lentils, legumes. There's so much of a variety when it comes to foods. So including those foods once in a while, and something that they really, really like, if they're being finicky, add a little bit of that in the entire plate. Don't just be extreme, like don't be this or that, don't be healthy or completely unhealthy. You can combine the two, and you can sort of reach that place with your child where both of you are agreeing to what is being done to their food. So there they feel like there's some kind of hold that they have over this, and they're not completely powerless. So that's when the tantrums and stuff sort of come under control. And eventually, after the age of 5, adolescence, very, very important stage of your life. Proteins, iron, calcium, B vitamins, D3, these are very important during this time. Should not be ignored. Kids also should be tested every 2 to 3 years, at least for the vitamin D3 and B12 levels. I would say every year for D3, because bone formation around that age is so important, because that is something that they take for the rest of their lives, right? So growth and everything is sort of pushed by these nutrients, right? So making sure that all these foods are there. And once they become more coherent, they understand the meaning of food and what it is, and understand the social aspect of it, understanding the traditional home aspect of it, that, oh, this is what we do as a family. So sitting with them, eating food with them, making that experience a more family experience of love, and not stuffing them all the time when they're not eating. So this is also very important, because kids are finicky. They will throw a tantrum and not eat certain foods. Trust me, they will survive if they don't eat that one meal. Make them psychologically, make them understand that you still have certain kind of hold on them. Because only then will they sort of agree to things that you do, and they'll start incorporating things, right? So definitely don't completely give in as well. And more than anything, they are many you, right? So be their example. I have seen my clients, and co-founder Karan Jain and his wife Deepti, they are really into this. They are making sure that they are healthy all the time. So their child is actually following them. So they actually sit, like, I know so many of my clients who sit with their kids to eat, and the child is wanting to eat the healthy food that they are eating. So there should never be a kid's meal and an adult meal. The meals can be the same. Just the level of spice, the level of salt, everything can be adjusted. But make sure that you're doing it with your child in a way that they feel like they are eating what you are eating and not making special arrangements for them. So certain things, of course, they are going to be finicky, but they will change. You can mold them the way you want to mold them. So definitely, to put it all together, the main thing take home over here would be that you be the example, whether it is exercise or it's food. Both things should be, if you are good at it, your child will definitely emulate you and will definitely go for whatever you are going for. So yeah, that's that.
Wow. Wow, that was so insightful and comprehensive, Rakhi. I hope all the parents watching this have taken down notes and they've taken complete heed on what you're saying. Brilliant, brilliant. All right then.
Should
Let's
we?
talk about.
Yeah.
Yes, you want to add something? All right.
No, I was just gonna
So
say, should we
I
take some questions from the audience? But if we
Yeah, I
must
have
be,
another question. I have a couple of questions before if I may, please. So, right. So, all right, let's come to this. What do you think about Kids Okay, please?
I think it's a great platform and it's a good initiative. Definitely needed at this time. So I think and also I would like you to explain to the people who are joining from my end what Kids Okay Please is, so that they also understand, and definitely I can link this back in my stories as well.
Surely. So, Kids Okay, please is an initiative dedicated towards creating marvelous childhoods. That is the sole focus that determines all our operations. We want to make marvelous childhoods more and more available and accessible to all children across the world. And as you can see, we're starting making it available through conversations like these, through other initiatives that we're taking online, until, of course, we can go offline when the situation changes. So, Kids Okay Please is a child-centered and child-focused organization that is constantly working towards creating marvelous childhoods. And this we're doing through whatever multiple mediums that we can adapt and incorporate in our functions. And we want to tell everyone to just keep following our pages, because consider it like a book of fairy tale, and think of it like it's unfolding, and think of it like it's unfurling, and watch as it unfolds, because I don't want to give away all the surprises that we have in store for all of our children and parents. So I would suggest, Rakhi, that you relay to all your followers that have them join our pages, follow our pages, so that there's this constantly exciting stuff happening for children and parents. So have them join us, and they'll keep continuing to benefit from this journey that we're on.
Right, yeah, absolutely. And it's great. You guys are doing a great job.
Thank
Making
you.
it's not only about education in the sense of textbooks. It's education and development of the brain and the senses and everything for kids, and that's such an important topic. Kids
Precisely.
need to grow up to be very informed individuals, and these are small, small, small things that actually create their personality. So I think it's a great job that you guys are doing.
Thank you, Rocky. Thank you. Thanks so much for your kind words. Now, shall we take the questions from the audience? I already see that our audience is already excited to be asking you questions. So let's go
Okay.
right at the back. I did see a question coming in from somebody when we started. So I'm just
Yeah.
gonna, here it is. So Neha Khajuria is asking, what is a good replacement of milk for vegetarian children?
So
Or vegan, if she
for
means that.
vegan children. So definitely making sure that other calcium-rich foods are there in your diet. So making sure that almonds are good, sesame seeds are good. These are two very good, rich sources of calcium for the amount of food that we are eating. Sometimes broccoli is a good option. So it does become difficult for to pack in so much calcium when it's not milk. But if you are somebody who wants the child to be vegan, these are your good options. Sometimes, and actually these days, There are a couple of brands in India who are doing good almond milks, which do not have a lot of additives and a lot of these added sugars and everything. So those usually are fortified with calcium, and you can actually go for those because it is helpful. You need the calcium, and the volume of food that you will have to eat to gain calcium will sort of be a lot. So almonds, sesame seeds, and fortified, milk and cereal.
Lovely. Neha's question is very clearly answered. Now the next question is from Goviva, and Goviva says, people are giving supplements to kids. Do you think that's a good idea?
Well, you need to look at how much the child needs it. You need supplements if the child is vegan, for example. B12 is not there in vegan food, so you need to supplement it. You have chosen a lifestyle for your child, and the child has
Correct.
agreed to do it. So B12 is something that you will not get from food, so you have to supplement with B12. D3, on the other hand, has become almost everybody, adults or kids, are deficient in D3 in India. Whether it's to do with our melanin or to do with the time, the sun exposure that kids are having these days, it is important to supplement D3. So these two, I would say definitely, and especially if the child is deficient in something, you should supplement. Try to get as much as possible from food. So it's not difficult, it's not impossible to do it. So try to get as much as you can from food. But if the child is deficient, or if the child has special needs, child has some kind of illness where they are not able to absorb certain nutrients. So iron is also another one. Making sure that you're supplementing those foods is not a bad idea. It's not harming them in any way. In fact, it's helping them in their growth. So selective supplementation is important. It cannot be replaced with food, but it should be done in conjunction with your nutrition. But completely, it should not be ruled out ever.
Lovely, lovely. Thank you. Thank you, Rocky. Any other questions from the audience? Friends, parents, children, do you have any questions for Rocky?
Yeah.
All right then. Do you think we have any more questions? Yeah.
We're good.
We're good? We're good. We're good. Lovely. Lovely.
And hopefully I covered most of the questions that anyone who sees this later will have. So
certainly. And if not, we would love to have you again on the live sometime later, down a few months. And if our audience, if our parents and children are eager to know more about nutrition, we will certainly have you on board again and take this conversation once more into this amazing direction that we had.
Thank you. It would be my absolute pleasure to. Always very, very happy to spread this kind of information. It is good. It's needed. It's the need of the hour. So I'm always happy to help. In these cases.
Thank you, Rocky. Thank you. Such a pleasure to have you with us. It's been a delight.
It was a great time that I had right now, and good questions. I loved answering them, and thank you for having me. Thank you, everyone,
pleasure.
who joined in, and so until next time.
See you guys next time. See everyone next time. All right then, Rocky. Take care. Au revoir. Hope all of you enjoyed that extremely insightful session. That was Rocky Arora Jain telling us all about nutrition for parents and children. So I'm your host, Zain Fareed, logging off. Until I see you again, take care. Thank you. Lots of love to all you parents and children. Ciao, ciao.